Hello and welcome to Comic Solving Problems. I'm Stephen Allen.
And I'm Eric McElroy. Good evening.
Hello. Welcome along. It's a live streaming comedy show where we find the problems in the news by looking at the news. You can send them to them as well. And we then solve the problems. And if we don't solve the problems, it doesn't matter because we have a laugh anyway. Whee.
Hey. There we go.
I'm trying to be positive about it. I mean, that's as positive as it came across. Go, who cares? And that apathy is where I store all my positivity these days. Yes, it's the place where we two comedians, us two, even though we don't have gigs these days. So are we comedians?
No.
If a comedian dies on his arse in the woods and no one's there to hear it, is that technically an allowed gig? I don't know, and if so, who books it? I would like to do that, please. You can send us the problems wherever you're watching this. You should be able to send some messages in the chat. Plus, you got the thing on the screen. You could subscribe to the YouTube channel to make sure you catch this twice weekly show. And if you're enjoying it right now, if you think this looks like this is going to be my entertainment, spread the link, share it, tweet it, share it on Twitch if that's the thing. Facebook it and other social medias. Let's get some eyes pointing in the direction of these solutions that we're going to find. And I think that's pretty much it for getting ourselves facing in the right direction.
Yeah, it's exciting because we're here as well. This is part of the Brighton Festival too, so that makes it extra special. So we're doing just normal, and then it's festival. So it's a festival show.
Hello,
that makes it
Brighton.
We're solving the problems of Brighton.
They don't have any problems down in Brighton, do they? That's why people move down there.
Southern trains.
Oh yeah. Sorry about that. We ain't going to solve that today. The show's not that
touch
long.
that one. That is the third rail of comic solving problems.
Yeah.
Southern trains.
Brilliant stuff. Right. So in terms of problem one, what's the first one you got for us, Eric?
Steve, it's a lighthearted problem to kick us off today. It is the problem of the end of the world.
Great.
Yep. It's coming. So later on, because we're doing this on Thursday, tonight is the final debate in the presidential debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. So we have that to look forward to. I'm going to be staying up all night to watch it, which is my own personal problem. And the stakes are very high for Trump because he's way down in the polls. He's struggling even with the Electoral College advantage that he had last time. And he didn't do very well in the last debate. If you remember, here's a little clip of that.
Proud boys, stand back and stand by.
It didn't go very well.
Yeah.
I feel bad using that clip. I don't know. Is it too soon? But the bottom line is Trump doesn't really need to debate, or he doesn't need to debate. He doesn't need to worry. Trump doesn't have any problems with all this. And that is because we know who's going to win. And that's because we've been listening to televangelist Pat Robertson, and he has this prediction.
Well, here goes. I want to share with you. I was praying on Sunday saying, God, please tell me how it's going to happen. And I hope I've got the word. But first of all, I want to say without question, Trump is going to win the election.
Oh.
Yep. That's right, Steve. You heard it here first. God hates us. Divine providence has said that's the way it's going to be. Doesn't matter how many things he grabs or how many debates he implodes on, and this is coming from Pat Robertson, who's the guy who knows that the gays cause hurricanes. So he's telling the truth.
Oh, is he the one? Okay.
He's one of them. I don't know. He says one of these things. I don't know. But he does have a vision. Not only does he know that Trump's going to win, but he knows what it's going to look like after Trump wins.
After Trump is sworn in, we're going to see civic disobedience in our America that will just be mind-boggling. The country will be torn apart.
What a positive agenda to make America great again. Pat's putting forward there, because apparently America was great during the Civil War. He's basically, the slogan is vote for Trump because the country will be fucked. But he doesn't just stop there. Pat takes it a little bit further.
But there will be at least 2 attempts on the president's life.
Yep, 2 attempts on the president's life. Now, a lot of people have said to me, like, well, you got guns in America. Why don't you just take Trump out? Wouldn't that solve all the problems? And the answer is no. I will not endorse the assassination of the president because it's illegal and I would get arrested, but also because everyone is armed in America. If someone took a shot at Trump, everybody would be going at each other because it's America. Even the left has guns. The right has guns. It would be horrific, right? It's hard to explain because, even if people don't, it would just tear America apart. And, I have thought a few times living in the UK all this all these years. Like, what would happen if someone took a shot at the prime minister in this country? Exactly. That's the reaction of British people.
Yep.
Little raised eyebrows, a little bit of a thought. And I know you're sitting there thinking, Steve, does that mean we get a bank holiday? You guys don't give a shit. One of the reasons, a few things that keeps you together. Right. So we got the country torn apart, riots, assassination attempts. Maybe could it get any worse?
The only thing that'll fulfill what the word of Jesus, that I'm going to give you in a minute, is some kind of an asteroid strike on the globe. It's sudden destruction.
I mean, I'm sorry, Pat, but Jesus Christ. Are you kidding me? Assassinations, riots, asteroids. I mean, now you've just taken things too far. I thought that can't possibly be true. And then I saw this.
Famed astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson says an asteroid the size of a refrigerator could hit Earth the day before the November election.
Oh my God. I mean, maybe that's the only thing that will stop it from happening. Whatever. I mean, I just think, is this what's... And then, but when I heard that about the asteroid, and I thought, looking at the shriveled husk that Pat Robertson has become, I thought, wait a minute. Maybe he knows something we don't, because I kind of recognize something about Pat, and I saw this.
What the word of Jesus, that I'm going to give you in a minute, is some kind of an asteroid strike on the globe. It's sudden destruction.
He looks like the guys from Mars Attacks.
Yeah.
Did you notice there when the Mars Attacks guy says, when Pat Robertson's saying the asteroid, that the Martian goes like this?
How many hours did you spend editing that?
30 minutes.
Yeah, that's what we do on the show. We spend many.
And I'm pointing it out because it's so subtle. Did you notice that?
No.
There you see, nobody. But we know. That's the craftsmanship that goes into this show, ladies and gentlemen. We find the old clips. We find asteroid.
Beautiful.
You can go back, watch it on YouTube over and over again, because that's what I've done.
I must admit, that's the first time I'd seen any of these clips. And if I'd have watched that, not realizing what was happening, when he gets to talk about assassination attempts on the president, asteroids, it just seems like he's in a movie pitch meeting. Kind of, I got a great idea. When I first started in showbiz, this will sell. So he's got that kind of vibe, although I do love the idea of an asteroid the size of a fridge. Because if it looks like a fridge, it will distract Trump. He'll see that just land. Wait a minute, I need to go in here. And it's a good outcome. That will be one of the assassination attempts. Also, did we find out if any of those assassination attempts worked? Because he just said people will try. Didn't say if anyone would succeed. Only one of them can succeed, I guess.
Yeah. COVID tried. That didn't work. And plus, we don't know, when we say refrigerator, I mean, he's American. So, I mean, if he's talking about a British fridge, nobody's even going to notice. But if it's an American fridge freezer with the ice cup machine in there, and then the 2 doors and all that delicious food and jars of pickles.
How's that obesity working out for Americans?
It's fine. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
I've got put on a few pounds in COVID, all right?
Fair enough. Yeah.
Let it go.
Look, the message boards are open for anything on this as well. We can get stuck into some of the messages. Chris Curling says, evening, chaps. Evening, Chris. Mark says, hello. Glad you're back. Yeah, we're back in instead of the Brighton Fringe best of, let's get into the news over the last few months. This is today's topical stuff. Mark also says, if a comedian dies on his arse in the woods, it'll become a Channel 5 series. And I am available. I'm available for that work.
All available now. Whenever I see someone post available gigs on the forum, I'm like, why are you doing that? There's comedy forums where people advertise gigs. I'm like, we're all free.
We're all over, yeah. We're all free. I love it though when I'm already booked for one. Like, I've had an email about a Friday gig, and it happened, and I had to double check that the Friday gig I was booked for hadn't been cancelled because I don't trust anything. Yeah. But I actually got to say, sorry, I'm already working that evening. Oh, it's felt foreign to my mouth. Strange.
One evening a year is good.
Yeah. Have you seen? So there's a message that I don't know if you want to try and read this out. Watching the show here in Noarlunga, South Australia. Wally and Cynthia and Dingo, and we have our pet kangaroo Donald. Nice.
Okay, cool. I'm trying to figure out which end of the chat I'm on. I can't figure out where the bottom is because it's got all the old chat in here, so I can't tell.
You're always on the new ones. Yeah.
I'm lost. So
I can catch you up to where you can see probably. Chris says, will Pat Robinson last until the election? I think there's a strong chance he's not even still alive because he's He could be the heaven correspondent. He's got that vibe about him.
Yeah, he's 90.
Yeah.
He's 90 years old. So he's been predicting the end of days for a lot of days.
Yeah. And, he's so old that if he actually sees a fridge, opens the door, if he saw a light, he'd walk towards it. So he's got that kind of vibe going on.
Because the fridges in America are big enough that you think this is a gateway to heaven.
Imagine that. Where's Pat? He's in the fridge again. He's in the fridge shouting something about St. Peter. Honestly, that guy.
Yeah.
Some more messages. Do you know what? We can keep going through the messages. Wherever you're watching this, you should be able to watch. Lynn Brown says it's a twig gig. Is that if we die on our ass in the forest? There is a strong chance we should go and actually film an outside gig in a forest, Eric. It's catching on.
We could do. I mean, it's kind of the way it'd be like going to certain promoters' gigs where you get dropped off in the middle of nowhere. And
do you know what? I'll take those gigs as well now. Yeah, wherever you're watching this, you can send the messages, and if you're enjoying it, chuck some money in the pot. It will help to keep this project afloat, which we desperately need. Also, keep sharing it, and I think we're up to date. So, shall I crack on with another one?
Yes, I think it's your problem, Steve.
Here's the problem. It's the tier system. It's people who struggle with it. Now, I think it can best exemplify. I was going to try and find who'd gone into which tier right now just to work out who this is good for. But this is my favourite tier-related story. There's one village it's in Yorkshire. It's got a problem because it's split between two tiers. And it just goes to show how complicated this tier system is. And it wasn't meant to be. It's meant to get easier. Boris Johnson said he would rely on the common sense of the British public. And it's not gone well.
Yeah.
And I was thinking today, I remember when it was William Hague saying, what we need is a common sense revolution. And that worked out well, didn't it? So you'd imagine by now, you should realise the only common sense thing to do is presume that no one has common sense. And that's why they started to try and make the rules easier to understand. And now we have this tier system. So what I thought I'd do is I would help you understand the tier system. Solving problems. So let's start with the concept. It's a 3-tier system. The lowest one, is that called low? Nope, it's called medium. Now, that's an odd place to start because I thought medium should be in the middle of something. I even looked it up. The definition is about halfway between two extremes. So you can't really start something at medium, having that on the low end. This is like they put Costa Coffee in charge. It's if they think you can just start off with medium, the government would ruin fairy tales.
Are you sitting comfortably? Then we'll begin. Once upon a time, Goldilocks went into the woods and fucked over one bear. The end.
It's quicker, I suppose.
It's harsh.
Yeah.
It's harsh.
So look, the low end of the scale is too confusing. Let's go to the other end. Right at the top. Is the top level called high? No. Tier 2 is called high. The very top level is called very high. Now this it makes it even more confusing, but I can kind of understand what they're trying to do by having it, because you can't call the low level low, because people will go, oh, it's low, and they wouldn't worry. So you've got to scare people. But if you're going to do that, why not go the whole hog? Why not call the lowest level very high, the medium level pretty damn high, and then the top level, ah! We'd all stay indoors. We're saving lives. I don't know why they're not listening to us, Eric. The title for the tiers is too confusing. Instead, let's just look at the numbers. Here we are. We can bring up the little graph here. So, if you tabulate the tiers, in the number 1 position is tier 3. In the number 3 position is tier 1. Has that made it any easier? Don't worry. Tier 2 is still in the number 2 position. That's how symmetry works.
There we go.
That's because it's medium in comparison to those, but it's not medium. That's the bottom one. It's actually high. So let's look. Now you understand which tier you're in. Let's look to see what kind of rules we're dealing with. Tier 1, normal rules. They could have called it normal, and that just would have been too easy. So of course they're not going to do that. Tier 2 has extra rules. You're not allowed to meet up indoors with any other families. And that has already led to a 400% increase in people buying patio heaters and fire pits. And I love this because it's so nice to already know what Greta is going to moan about next year. That seems like the story that I can't wait to happen. So what else is in the rules of tier 2? Well, you're not allowed to have sex with someone you don't live with indoors, but you can still have sex outdoors. So if you've recently bought an outdoor heater, you might have to waft away more than just wasps. You dirty pockets, get out of it. If you're currently living in Tier 3, no one knows what you're allowed to do. I'd say go to a library to look it up, but you can't. So that is me trying to explain the simplified system that we all need to stick to. And if we all stick to those rules, somehow it will still get worse. I think I've solved it.
I mean, if they're concerned with people having sex indoors, they should just encourage more people to get married.
Yeah, well, maybe they do. Yeah.
Pretty much solves it for us.
Look, Chris Curling says boost for the dogging fraternity.
I know, I never really thought of, I mean, the appeal of dogging never really was there for me until now. Although I'm married, so I can't have sex indoors.
We had it as I did it in a previous show, a list of people breaking crimes, and I put doggers quite low because it's outdoors.
Yeah.
Handshakers are worse than doggers, in my opinion.
That's right. So as long as you have sex, just don't shake hands.
Imagine that a dogging meet. I presume they're called that. A dogging meet, and afterwards, thank you very much. Oh, you bastard.
You do the elbow touch. Can you get someone off that way? Anyway, I can see some comments now. Mark said it would have to be a convertible car, but can't be indoors. There you go.
Yeah.
You can't be in the car. Yeah, it's definitely got to be on the hood, in the boot.
And Utah 1 says, if you want a gig in the woods, I hear some teddy bears having a nice picnic. I would, again, willingly take that gig because that would be the biggest audience I've played to for a long while.
Yep, that would be.
Do you know what tier you're in, by the way?
We're in Tier 2.
Really?
Yes, because we're Greater London. Yeah.
Okay. Down here in the Gravesham area, Tier 1. Yeah.
Wimp. Got to lean into it.
Yeah.
Get in there.
I think that means I'm allowed to. Well, it's something like I can go to a restaurant and pubs can stay open. And there's a really weird thing about Tier 3 where a pub can stay open if it's only serving a substantial meal.
Yeah. What is that?
Which it's got to have. I honestly, I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard someone on the news saying it's got to have chips. But that can't be the definition. I know most of the Tier 3 places are in the north, so that will be true. But it can't be a rule that the only thing that makes a substantial meal substantial is chips.
I think it means 3 packets of crisps.
That means we could gig indoors as long as we cook people a meal and didn't make them laugh, which is doable.
I think in Tier 3 also the comedy clubs have been allowed to stay open, but they have to serve a substantial meal and they cannot serve alcohol.
That's going to go well.
Yeah, and I know you're not the biggest drinker in the world, Steve, but do you really want to perform to a sober audience?
No, that's right. I rarely drink, but I'm grateful that other people do. That's why I'm not evangelical about not drinking. I want other people to be slightly disadvantaged.
That's right. Definitely. So yeah, I mean, it is. I think it's going well. I think that's pretty much
the biggest joke of the show so far. It is such a mess. Look, if you got any messages on this, any comments? Tears for Fears, says Lynn. Loving it.
Nice.
I can't believe I made it all the way through that bit and didn't do a tears pun. Thank heavens you're there, Lynn. Keep some messages coming through on this, and if you're enjoying it, you could subscribe. There should be a link somewhere near this, and it would very much help pay for the crisps that will make this a substantial meal.
Yes. Not salt and vinegar. Never.
That's a different phone.
Some of the prawn flavors. I mean, that would be a good. We haven't done a proper quiz for a while. We should do a quiz at some point about what's the most disgusting flavor of British crisps.
Prawn cocktail. Yeah.
The steak ones.
Yeah, at least they're just vaguely meaty, whereas prawn cocktail. Do you know what's weird? Prawn cocktail and tomato ketchup flavor crisps almost taste the same. Something's gone wrong. And also, I know we don't want to. Paprika, says Mark. No,
that's true.
Too much, too fiery.
We've never lived in Germany. Everything's paprika. The women are paprika.
That's gonna sting. But little side point, I learned a fact recently while we're doing nerdy facts. The reason why banana flavored things don't taste like banana, do you know what it is?
No.
Back in the day when these chemical substitutes for flavors were invented, there were more than one different types of banana. Because